I just took it as a chance. Well, you know, I do something different. You know, so that's why I'm doing this. What kind of podcast have you been on? That's really interesting. Like that totally blew my mind. You can't remember way back in the 70s?
No. It's a little bit recent. I'm an artist.
Okay.
Yeah.
What kind of art do you do?
Well, right now, for the last 30 years, all my work has addressed water.
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 Like, how do you contain the water?
No, that's exactly the kind of question you would ask if you're from New York City.
Well, water usually, if it's not flowing,
Yeah.
even the Earth's a vessel for the water, right?
Yeah.
So
You wouldn't be here if it weren't for water.
Yeah.
That's what I do. I designed and helped build the first inner city park that's a water cleaning system. It's
Wow.
in central China. We're kind of retarded here in the U.S.
I won't take any offense to that.
You better not, because it's true.
Yeah, I guess.
We're like, just go on UN statistics, okay?
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
not. I still drink the water from the tap.
Oh, the water tap in New York's fine.
Yeah, it comes from
Yeah.
the Adirondacks.
Yeah.
State.
Yeah, they have to pump chlorine, fluorine, ammonia, and something else in it to
Yeah.
keep it clean coming down through all those pipes. But
So the Chinese have cleaner water than us. Is that what you're telling me?
no, that's not what I'm telling you.
Okay.
What I'm telling you is that we think we haven't gotten on the board with climate change or that, okay, it's okay for us to live off the water from the Adirondacks. Well, we're taking water from another place. If we get too big here, that place won't have water.
Mm-hmm.
So is that the right paradigm for sustainability? No. We use water here like it's an endless supply.
I do.
Yeah, everybody does, because you're a New Yorker, and
Yeah.
New York's the best, and we're the richest, and, you know, the seas aren't going to overwhelm us.
I think the water really is a real emblematic of our richness, really, honestly. Especially in New York, because it's relatively inexpensive.
Anywhere in the U.S.
Well, California has their problems with the water right now.
Well, they engineered their own problem.
I agree with that.
Totally engineered it. Probably, you know, like, I mean, it's a big problem that the rainforest in Brazil is disappearing because it sends enough water in the sky to help California out. But we live with the wrong paradigm.
So you helped design a water treatment park. So it's a dual-purpose place. It's a park and it treats the water. So
Yeah, but my biggest message is water's life, and we better change
absolutely.
what we do.
Every major city is near a major water source
Exactly.
throughout history.
Yeah, but all the wastewater treatment plants dump their shit in the water, and we have a very low standard that you can dump your cleaned wastewater in. And, you know, they take the drinking water out half a mile downstream or something. I mean, that's all over the U.S. We're spending, billions on this stupid fucking election, and we could put money into making our ecosystems correct. The basic infrastructures of our country, which will ensure that we have a future. Correct. And we're not.
Yeah.
We don't.
Things are definitely dicey nowadays.
They're lousy. I'm glad I'm not your age now. I'm glad I've already got, you know, most of my life.
I hope I say that when I'm your age.
You know, because I think you're really going to be facing very hard things.
Yeah. But every generation does, don't they? You don't think so?
I don't know. I think that my generation, like that was the 60s revolution.
Vietnam, Watergate, those are issues. Had to deal with them.
Yeah, they're minor compared to ISIS and bombing and droning and what's gathering storm is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I was right in the center of it. My dad was.
Do you believe? I don't know if you ever heard this guy.
But you should never say that, because, you know, we all need to have a really hopeful future, and you need to have a really hopeful future too. And at the same time, I mean, the thing I find most hopeful now is how many people are demanding that things get right. You know, whether it's legally or it's, you know, when murders are taking place, but how did we get here? How did we get so that the NRA runs the United States? How did we get that all people think about is money? and material goods. How do we get there? That wasn't my background. We don't grow up with that, you know, and a lot of things have gotten better. That's a fact. On the other hand, there's no way this planet can sustain what we do. Absolutely no way. And so all these things about grow endlessly, make more money, make more products is, I mean, do you need 10 pairs of shoes? And, you know, you probably, being a stand-up comic, don't have that, but, you know, I don't have that either.
But I did buy 2 pairs of shoes of the same make because I figured, because they were on sale.
Yeah.
So I basically bought 2 for 1.
Yeah.
They're just like this, except they're black and white. So I'll wear this the years line up on this.
Yeah.
And then I'll have to have my shoes
but,
the next
but
2
you
years.
don't need a 10-bedroom house for a couple.
I don't want a 10-bedroom house.
Me neither. But there are a lot of people that do.
I would like to be able to afford a 1-bedroom in New York City. That would be amazing.
That would be amazing, right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think that makes me. I mean.
That's not.
That does make me think about money, though.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, to stay within the rules of, like, you know, what's affordable.
Yeah.
I need to think about.
New York's so expensive.
Yeah.
I tell young artists leave.
But this is, I mean, I love this city. I think it's in accordance with my destiny.
Good.
You know?
Good. I hope you have it great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, I do.
So you're an artist with water. I still don't know what you do with the water. I'm still a bit mystified.
I do everything I can with water. I talk about it. I try and educate. Mostly, I think everything in life is about consciousness.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and it's really easy to be in a great city like this and not be conscious of earth and water and really how amazing this planet is.
I'm interested in what you said about consciousness. Like, how did you? Like, how long have you been thinking about that, or like, is this something you've always felt, or? You know,
well, probably, but not consciously.
Not unconsciously, consciously thinking about it.
Well, I started out as an artist my whole life, so I was a street performance artist, and I hung out. First, I hung out as this archetypal figure called the 7,000-year-old woman. You can find me online. And then I hung out collecting stories from people's lives, like as a blind person. So I didn't realize what I was doing, you know, all the time. I just decided, well, probably like you, that I'm going to just do these things.
Well, you know? For me, it was the fear of not doing or doing it was overcome by the fear of death.
So I don't think I was that conscious, but so that's, I mean, consciousness is very humbling, and I'm always surprised, you know, oh, I got to wake up that much more.
How do you do that?
A little.
Do you have any, like, you know, tips, hacks?
Well, I don't drink and I don't smoke.
Okay. What do you do? That's the old song.
I'm a grandmother and I'm a mother, and I do a lot of lecturing, and I make my art, and I.
Has being a grandmother or even a mother enhanced your consciousness?
Oh, beyond a doubt.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Did it make you more aware of who you are as a person, or just human condition, or?
Like more aware of the value of life, and you know, in our culture, being a mother isn't valued. Parenting isn't valued. In fact, it's probably the hardest job there is, and the most denigrated. So you learn a lot. And as a female artist in the 60s, when I never ever learned in school one female artist, and my professors said horrible things, and I was part of the women's art movement. I still am. I am. But I was really very active, and but you know, You know, we don't have good schools. We don't have good care of children. And there's all this lip service, and it's terrible. It's not true.
Yeah.
And we live in the richest country in the world. And we are willing to fragrantly waste so much money on things that are meaningless. And I mean elections, basically. You know, like in Australia, you compete for 3 months. That's it. Each candidate gets a bit of money, and that is done.
Yeah.
If you don't vote, you're fined.
Yeah.
You know, in this country, most people aren't even voting.
Do you think that's a bad thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think if we want to live in a democracy and we want respect for everybody, people have to understand that they're part of it.
Yeah.
And whether you're, you know, which I don't at all agree with, but you know, whatever your persuasions are, rather than knock somebody over the head or become a KKK member that burns crosses and still does things, if that's out there, the rest of the society better be out there standing up.
Yeah, that's true. I guess you're right.
You know,
Yeah.
because believe it or not, this country has moved way further to the right than what I grew up in. And it's
In which aspects? In general, social issues.
well, you know, like that. It's moved in that, say, being whatever sexuality you want to be, you can be.
Yeah.
But women's rights have barely moved at all, and the race stuff. I actually think it's good news that it's so obvious. You know,
It's more,
I mean,
it's easier to address.
Yeah, I've said I'm Indian and white, but like I was like, this is racism that was coming at Obama. Not one person in the news media mentioned it till about 18 months ago, at all.
Yeah.
You know, and so if you're a member of a group where the ceiling's coming down on you, and people step out of it or try to move up, you understand that there's ceilings. Like I understand there's ceilings. I did this park, and people are like, you know, like, I was followed by, I don't know which government agency, because I was an older woman who was successful in China. Wow. So why are you guys tapping my phone and following me and everything? Well, how did you succeed? Who's your sponsor? You know, or how did you do that? You know, we've been trying to figure this out for 40 years. Like you figured, I figured, and so things are complicated, and I love the United States, believe me. And as the guy said, who wouldn't stand up for the national anthem, or as
what do you think about that?
What do I think about it? I think that's his right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't you think it's kind of old news? Haven't we already been through this with Muhammad Ali not joining the draft and flag burning in the 80s? Isn't this old news?
No, because black people are still really oppressed.
No, I mean in terms of like people making a big deal about him not standing up. I mean the issue, the reason he's sitting is one thing, but that's not what's in the media.
Yeah.
What's in the media is how dare this guy sit down? Well, you know what I mean?
know.
Like that's the issue instead of
Because
like the real issue.
People aren't addressing the real issues.
Yeah.
They're not saying the real issues.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, the real issues are, the real issues is that we are, but this is so hard to say. The amount of control, corporate control on our necks is so big, and nobody dares really talk about it. And on the other hand, there's a ground swelling against it. Like the native tribes in this country have never gathered so much as they are now in the Dakotas since something like 1885. I'm sorry, I can't remember the exact date. It's around the pipeline going through their land and their water sources.
Obama promised to give it back to them, the Dakotas, when he became. That was one of his election promises.
Well, he's reneged on it.
Yeah.
And I don't know how many guns are at his head. We don't talk about this
Yeah.
stuff. A president is virtually powerless. Everyone thinks a president can change our country.
Do you really feel that way with all the executive powers that they seem to keep gaining election after election?
I don't think they necessarily use them very well, but I don't think it's
But
that big.
You don't think it's that big?
No.
Okay. It's interesting.
But I lived in China for 10 years, and this is very treasonous. There's not such a huge difference. There are huge differences. The biggest difference is in access to media. And access to media might save our democracy. And but if Americans think they're not being controlled, they're wrong.
So, as an artist, and maybe I mean, you were talking about how we all have corporate, like corporations like around our neck. I think I hear what you're saying in terms of like you see it because you see it more because you're an artist. You're outside of corporate America. You don't
I'd go crazy.
Yeah, those environments don't work for people like you and me.
Right.
And it doesn't, because we're not in that environment. It doesn't really affect our thinking. But
It does affect us.
But it affects us because we have to deal with the people, because they're almost like a majority. Majority of people aren't artists. They're 9 to 5 lawyers and doctors and
Yeah, but it
police
does.
officers.
It does affect us.
Yeah.
It affects us. There's an organization that doesn't give a lot of money, sort of called, what is it called? Blade of Grass. And they had a discussion about something like that. And I went up and I said, it's like, do you know Pablo Freire's work? The sort of like how is he Brazilian? Anyway, our brains get occupied with the dialogue, the dominant dialogue. Or my brain can get occupied with the dominant dialogue of sexism, for example, because I'm a strong woman and I do well. And there are